Nobody walks into Dollar Tree looking at these wire baskets and thinks, Christmas decor? But I was convinced they could become something beautiful. So today I challenged myself to turn the same ordinary baskets into three elegant Christmas decorations. Let's see if they were worth making. Hi, I'm Loli. Let's create something beautiful and find a little joy along the way. When I'm done with this one, you're not going to believe that it was a wastebasket. We're going to start with some rope and this basket. I'm going to first find the center and using the taped edge of the rope, I'm going to thread it right there onto that hole and I'm going to feed it through and then put it through to the next hole that's next to it. So I have like a bracket in the middle. Then I'm going to thread as much of the rope towards the bottom so I'm able to create a loop here on the top. And I'm going to make sure that I have enough here in the bottom because I need to tie it into a bow or into a knot right here in the bottom. And I'm going to make sure that I have enough rope here in the bottom as well because we're going to need that also. And once I make sure everything is nice and tight, we are going to remove one of those pieces of rope. We're going to keep the one that looks the most centered. Then I'm going to unravel the other rope, making sure again that it's centered. I'm just going to go ahead and twist it on the opposite side. It's going to come out into three different strands. And those three strands were still a little bit too thick for what I was going for. So I unraveled those pieces as well. And I'm going to take about 3 strands from those 3 strands, if that makes any sense. And I'm going to trim this down so I'm able to thread some of these ornaments from the Dollar Tree. Here you see exactly what I mean. I'm undoing it. Hopefully you can see through the mesh. And I'm going to add a little bit of hot glue on the end here. So I'm able to thread that piece onto my ornament there. Once I did that, I'm going to feed it a little bit higher. I want to make sure that my balls are pretty high up onto the basket. I don't want them to be dangling and touching the floor. Nobody likes their balls to be touching the floor, so no pun intended. It just came out that way. Anyway, we are going to go ahead and do the same thing with 2 more balls because, yeah, just one more will be a little bit awkward. So we're going to go ahead and add 3 balls to this. And we're going to make sure that we add in this on different heights so they're staggered. When I added the second one here, I left the jute cord long because I wasn't sure exactly what the height was. I'm going to go ahead and thread it, and I just went a little bit higher up, tied it up, and then came in with another ornament, but I chose in this instant to use one that was more of a matte color just to have a bit more variation. And once I had all 3 of them attached, I just cut off all of the excess jute. My friend, if you're enjoying this video so far, please don't forget to hit that like button. And while you're there, let me know in the comment section where you're watching from. I love to know how far my videos are reaching. Share because sharing is caring. And don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much. All right, now we are going to go ahead and burn off the fuzzies from our rope. And once I did that, now it's time to embellish this. I'm going to use these picks that I got from Hobby Lobby. They were originally $1.99. I got them 90% off, so I paid 19 cents for each one of these. We will be using 4 of these for this. I'm just going to put them on here just to see how they look like. Ultimately, I'm going to come in and cut the stems off. We don't need that much wire there. And we're going to position it here. To adhere everything in place, we're going to add some hot glue here on the ends and then stick them in place where we decided to put them. And I did that with 4 different pieces. You see 3 there on the table, but I will come in later on with another one. And here it's important to not put too much hot glue. I added hot glue a little bit too much and I ended up kind of, dripping down. So just add enough that will be enough to just touch the top section of, the top section of our bell at this point right there. And then here I'm coming in with the 4th piece. We are cutting the stem off also, adding some hot glue, and we're going to position it on the side here where it felt like there was something missing. And now it looks a lot fuller, and we're making sure that our hanger is nice and straight. Now we are going to take this fairy light and wrap it all around the entire basket, going in different intervals. And we are going to end up with this beautiful lit piece. When we got here to the very top, I just kept hooking it in different areas, as you see there. You see how I created a hook there with the wire? I kept doing that at, I will say, about 5 inches away from them until I went all the way around. And here, once I got to the very top, I just did that, but I just folded that last bulb onto the very top of the basket here, which used to be the bottom. And that gave me the perfect spacing. And this turned out so, so beautiful, guys. And you can stop here, but you know already I'm extra. I fell in love with this ribbon and I needed to use it for this project. So I took this ribbon and I just want to create a bow with it. I just did a crisscross bow, as you see there, leaving the tails nice and long. Then I fluff my bow. I want to make sure that it's nice and neat and that my ends or each one of the sides of the bow are even, that my tails are also looking neat and even. Actually, not even. I wanted the tails of the bow to be uneven. I wanted one to be longer than the other. So I kept those that way. And then once I was happy with the way the bow was looking, I took a piece of floral wire and I'm going to use it to tie the bow and cinch it right here. I made sure it was nice and tight and give it a couple of twists in the back and cut off the excess. Then I just dovetail my ends, which just means folding the ribbon as you see there and cutting a triangle upward. And I did that with both sides. And again, I left the tails at two different heights. I cut off my excess wire, then added a nice amount of hot glue to the back there. And we are going to glue our bow right here. And it's framing our bowl so beautiful. You'll see in a minute. Please let me know in the comment section what do you think about this project. I am so in love. You are never going to believe this was a wire basket when I'm done. We're going to take one of these wire baskets from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to flip it over and take in these little snips. I am cutting the top ring off as close as possible to that black ring, trying to not cut the little triangles apart from each other. As you do that, you want edges that are kind of united on the ends, and you'll see why later on. And I did that all the way around until it was completely removed. Now we are going to take some floral wire, and this is why it was important to not have them cut. I cut only one there, you can see, but we're going to just start using those loops that are left behind and then just meander some of this floral wire here and there in different sections, because this is going to help us with the next step. And the next step is to just go ahead and scrunch this together. We are going to create kind of like a teepee. And to do that, and to keep everything together, the wire is going to help us with that. So here I'm going to start gathering the basket towards the middle. I'm going in small sections, trying to bend in the same manner in which the wire wants to bend. So I'm just going with the flow pretty much. I'm just going to keep doing that. And I started with the top and I'm slowly going to start bending the middle portion and then working towards the bottom. But I want to make sure that everything is coming in evenly on all sides. So it is easy and is symmetrical all the way around. So I just kept using my fingers to bend here and there. There are some areas in which it wants to bend way too much, like right here. So just go in through the inside of the basket and push back out those areas and then keep working it. Be very patient with this part here. Just pull out what you need, scrunch it, and bend the wire as you need. Like right here, it didn't want to give properly. So I kind of had to like help it along. As you see there, I'm just pushing in the middle and trying to make everything even. And at the same time, you want to make sure that the teepee that you create in here is center, because it's quite easy to end up, looking like an ugly dumpling or something. Or it kind of looks like a Hershey kiss, right? Something like that. Where we're gonna start gathering like that, and as I'm going, I'm going to tighten up the wire. And then I took the remainder of the wire and I'm going to wrap it as you see here, just bringing it together. I just twisted it around, and then I just wrapped the edges. Actually, no, I twisted it as much as I could, tighten it up, wrap some of it around and cut off the excess. And this is what I ended up with. Now we're going to take some of these floral lights, not floral lights, fairy lights from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to unravel it completely and I'm going to take the end, like the first light on there, the one that is furthest away from the battery bank, and I'm going to feed it onto those bottom holes. And I make sure to feed the entire thing because we are going to wrap this from the bottom of the structure to the top. We want to make sure that that battery bank stays in the bottom, and we are going to just feed it here and there just to make sure that the wire stays in place. I started with the base here and I did it all the way around to make sure that that section was illuminated all the way around. And then once I got to the other side, I started going higher up. And I meander it in just a couple of spots just to keep things leveled. But it took a little bit of time, but it was so worth it. And it was not as bad because I didn't have to put it in every single thing. I just went all the way around until I got to the back, to the top. And once I got to the top here, I am just going to feed it through the top here of the basket into the inside of the cone. And then I'm going to tighten it. That just held everything in place. Then I brought that end all the way to the bottom and I fed it through one of the holes in the bottom of the tree and fed it towards the outside here. And then I kind of bent it around one of those holes and out the other way again to secure everything in place. And this kept the fairy lights completely in place. Then I took one of these stars that I got from a packet at Dollar Tree and this apple barrel paint pen in the color gold. And we are going to paint that star completely with it. And then we're going to add a generous amount of hot glue on the top of our tree right there and position our star. I'm going to hold the star in place until that hot glue sets. And I added a little bit extra here in the corner to ensure that it was completely adhered. And that is it. Let me know what you think. My friends, so this video is part of the DIY Inspirations collaboration, and this collaboration is on the 8th of each month. And this month is all about Christmas luxury decor, and it is hosted by my friend Katie from Lady Red Crafting, myself, Loli from Loli's Creations, and this month we have the privilege of having the talented Christy from Funky Junk Inspirations. The links to our channels and the playlist will be linked in the description box below, so make sure to head on over and show everyone some love. For this project, we'll be using one of these waste baskets from the Dollar Tree. And we're going to start by just squeezing here, not in the middle, just a little bit under the middle once you put it backwards here. And I'm just going to start bending it down like you see right here. Here is kind of looking like Abe Lincoln's hat, but just stick with me, okay? The process, just stick with me. Trust me. We're going to continue to bend it as you see there. And I'm slowly just curving it in, curving it in. First, my idea was to just leave the bottom flat like this. Then I'm like, you know what? Let's make it a little bit more curved. And I wanted the hat to be also shorter. So I decided to start curving it in this way instead, just to give it a bit of a lift. And as I'm doing this, I am pulling the mesh from the bottom section or from the top of the hat or the walls, I should say the walls, as you see right here, the walls right here. We're going to start stretching them out. If you see there, it naturally tries to cave in. But as you are bending And as you're pulling that mesh, it's going to start straightening it out until you end up with this beautiful shape right here. All right, now we're going to embellish it. To do that, we'll be using some ribbons. These I got on clearance from Hobby Lobby. I paid 90% off. And I ended up using two of these. I ended up using one of this one. It's like a beautiful mesh, like a champagne gold. And we're going to wrap it around the base of the hat right here. Once I know exactly how much I need, I'm going to cut a little bit extra because I want to glue the ribbon to itself. So, and then I'm going to take this other one here. It's like a navy blue with some champagne gold. I really love how these two ribbons work together. So we're going to put this one above or on top of this one in the same manner, making sure that it is centered so you're able to see the mesh in both the top and the bottom right here of the ribbon. And we are going to trim off the other ribbon right here. Now we are going to position this right there at the base of the hat. Again, making sure that everything is centered. So to make sure that that happened, I'm going to add a little bit of hot glue at the end of the navy blue ribbon, and I'm positioning it right there at the center of the other one, being very careful that I don't burn myself because this ribbon here is mesh, so you know that hot glue is going to seep through. And then here, making sure that it's straight once again. And we're going to add some hot glue right here in the beginning of this piece of ribbon. We're going to position it right there onto the metal piece. I'm going to wrap the other piece of ribbon all the way around, making sure that it stays positioned exactly as I wanted with that navy blue ribbon centered. And then I'm going to come in and add some hot glue on top of that first piece of ribbon that I glued down, and then glue the end here on top of that. And I glued everything down neatly so it looks like just one continuous piece. Then I'm going to take these picks that I got from not Dollar Tree, I'm sorry, I got these from Hobby Lobby. They were on clearance. They were $1.99 originally. I got them 90% off. So I paid 20 cents for each one of these little pieces. I'm going to take one of these green ones that has the holly berries, some berries, and some pine cones. And I'm also going to use one of the gold pieces. We're going to remove the tag from both of them. I place them close together to each other, and I'm going to just like twist them closely using the stems. And I'm going to position it right here on the side of the hat there. And I'm making sure that I'm not piercing the ribbon as I do that. I don't want to mess up my ribbon. And I'm trying to figure out exactly the perfect placement for this. I originally was going to put it exactly where the two ribbons unite. Somehow I didn't. That was really the perfect way to cover up that. But I just found another area and I just put that through some of the holes of the basket, then bent the stems a bit until it was nice and tight. I fed it through the same holes and looped it around one more time. I was just being very careful that as I'm doing this, the greenery or the picks are still staying against my wire basket. And once that was nicely done, I just twisted around itself and secured it that way. And then I just removed the excess wire from the ends. Then I took some of my floral wire here, and I just wanted the picks to fit closely to each other. Once I was done there, you can see the separation between the two. So I am threading the wire in between the gold one here, and then I'm going to thread it in between the green one, and then I'm going to tighten the wire in the middle so they will be close together again. I like that look better. So here you can see how I'm pulling those two pieces of wire together, which is bringing the two picks close to each other. Then I just twisted it and then I cut off the excess wire. And I came in with my needle nose pliers to tighten it up even further so everything will be nicely snug together. And it's looking beautiful like this, but I'm not done yet. We will be adding this candle right here from the Dollar Tree. Comes in a pack of 3. We're going to put it right in here. But you know what? I said, let's elevate it just one more notch. So I came in with these fairy lights from the Dollar Tree as well. I'm going to go ahead and unravel them. And I'm going to start adding them to the mesh. From the bottom or the brim of the hat to the top, I'm just going to just weave them in and out in some spots of the hat to bring some of that magical, whimsical look that fairy lights bring to pieces like this. I threaded the entire fairy light thread or string through the entire thing here, making sure that the end was at the bottom with the power bank here at the bottom. And then I started weaving the fairy lights upward until I got to the end. And that is it. Let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed today's episode, here are a couple more videos you are sure to enjoy. Thank you so much for stopping by. You're amazing. Bye.